Hey, good day, good morning, or good evening from wheresoever you're watching me. I'm Akwago, the boy on the street with a burden in his heart for Africa. Come on, it's been for a while, right? Um, it is just because some things have been up and I've been trying to put them together to make sure that I give you wonderful content all the time. Just about Africa. Yes, just about Africa. So I am here again today so that we can talk about Africa. You know, if you are an Afro descendant, there should be nothing that should be more important to you now at this moment more than motherland Africa. All right, I have a couple of stuffs I want us to talk about, but I think I will start with the first one. That is really, all of them are important. Trust me, they are all important. It is just that I like to start with this one. We have an African delegation that has gone to Russia, led by the head of the African Union, to, maybe talk about the situation of Africa, since African states, which were neutral, not to be against Russia in the war that is going on in Ukraine, are being planned to be sanctioned by the leading nation of NATO, that is the UN, the USA. Now, what I want us to understand is that we must come to the reality that our futures are in our hands, and that the truth remains that there is nothing any nation in the world can do to African children that has not been done before. I know you already know about that, and that is why you keep following to get updated on what is happening to Africa. The head of the African Union, that is Excellency Macky Sall, the president of Senegal, is in Russia for discussions in Moscow with the leader of Russia. What we're asking you, sir, to do is to understand the desperate situation of especially the youths of Africa. When you look at Africa, nobody should tell you what you are supposed to do to make sure that our people are no more enslaved, because the systems with which we will be following, if you go there and do stuff that will not be able to favor the children of Africa, it means that we shall keep complaining, and complaining is not something for the strong. We have to start acting. I'm talking about our own sovereignty. Yes, we have to go into partnerships with Russia on a mutual basis. It must be on a mutual base. Yes, that is just it. Okay, that aside, and I believe so much that you are there for the good of Africa. Africa is what you are thinking about, because the truth is, if you are there just for Senegal, you and I know that Senegal cannot reckon a big power like Russia, and that is the truth. Well, we appreciate your efforts. We appreciate what you our fathers are doing for Africa. We know that you are doing the best in our interest, but sometimes we need to caution you to not sleep a little bit on your brain so that you are taking advantage of that aside. Okay, now what even caused me to do this video is just the fact that Nigeria is doing a lot of campaigns about her presidential election, and you hear a lot of rumors. This one is going that way, this one is going that way, and stuff like that. You see, you hear of the leader of a party in Nigeria talks about not having any proof to show that since 2015 any dollar from oil money has entered the federal coffers. Come on, guys, how worse can it be? Look at the unemployment in Nigeria. Look at what African youths are going through. When are we going to really look at our consciences and know that we were all created the same, and somehow we all deserve to have our places? But I would tell the people of Nigeria not to worry too much, because they are not, in fact, their situation is better, because there are states in Africa where there has been a monarch in power for over 4 decades, and no account of any oil or anything has been submitted to the state, which means that that money the state does not know anything about. You wonder why some ambassadors who ask them of their legacies after they are gone, they get infuriated, they get so angry with questions like that because people hate to hear the truth. And somehow the time has come that truth must prevail. Of course, you know that you could not do anything to him. You touch an American ambassador, you see what happened in Baghdad repeat itself in Africa again. Now, what we have to know and do is that the Santos of Angola did a lot of things that Angola, that fought to have its independence, struggled to do everything for its people to be free and happy with all the wealth of that nation. Before the Santos went out of power, the daughter was the richest lady in Africa. How was that possible? When shall we black people start understanding that we are divided against ourselves? And when we are divided against ourselves, we favor the very enemies that imprison and enslave us. You look at Equatorial Guinea today, almost the same thing is happening. But I'll not go too much into that. The point is, you need to understand that time has come for Africa. And the youth of Africa must take the responsibility of doing something about their continent. Because destiny calls, the time is here. They know that it's our time. But I will always ask you, do we know that it's our time? Africa has about 1.2 billion people. About 2050, Africa will be having more than 2.5 billion people, one of the biggest markets in the world. That is one of the hugest assets that the West, China, and the rest are looking for in Africa. But do we know how to harness this power? Do we know that using this power to our advantage is going to help us? Now, we may not know how to use it. The reason is because we were divided on the Berlin Conference table, giving illogical states, sometimes referred to as countries and nations, divided amongst ourselves, so that the children of Africa go scattered around the globe like a body without a head. There is no leadership, visionary leadership for Africa. And that is why the children of Africa are being humiliated everywhere in the world. When will you understand and discover that time has come for us to stand even for what is of best interest for Africa? Even if we have our differences, that is exactly what we have to do. And that we must do, like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, if we don't unite, we shall perish all together. Yes. And you have to understand this. You just have to wake up and let us start doing something about it. Now, there is this rumor in the air. It's not a rumor, actually, that there is this activist called Nathalie Yamb who has been threatened several times to be murdered by France, you know well. And, you know, kind of, I don't understand why such threats keep coming and coming and coming to the same person. But there is something I would like to let the West understand, or I would like people to really know, that, you know, there is nothing that the West can do again to Africa that has not been done before. And so, if Nathalie Yamb happens to go the way they want her to go, by killing her, you will not be doing anything strange. But there is something you should bother about, black retribution, because Africa is coming to power. Go and ask your sacred societies and all that. Ask all of them, they will know, they will tell you very well that Africa is coming to power, and there is nothing that can stop Africa. There is nothing that can stop Africa. And that we must understand and get our hands on deck and do what is necessary to make Africa united and powerful in the world, so that we can save the dignity of our people. That is so very important. Now, I really want us to understand that, I'm going back to the Nigerian youth. When you are choosing a leader this time around, it shouldn't be because you have been asked to do what is against your conscience. It shouldn't be because somebody has given you 100 naira, 2,000 naira or so for that. Think about it 5 years ahead. Think about who really has the youth at heart. Think about who wants to build Nigeria that is in disarray. Nigeria is the firstborn of Africa, and Nigeria has a lot to demonstrate to the African people so that we copy the example of Nigeria and move forward as the black nation. You make that decision carefully and know that your future is decided by what you decide to do today. We go back to what I was saying earlier. There are rumors that the USA wants to sanction neutral African states that did not want to align to punishing Russia with the war in Ukraine. Come on, that does not concern us. What should be concerning us is telling the USA to take out her military bases in Africa. They are not saving Africa. What is US protecting Africa against? There is nothing that the US should be protecting Africa against. You talk about terrorism. Who brings terrorism to Africa? There is nothing that we don't know that is happening that you think is too hidden. What we are supposed to do is to take out all the military bases in Africa. They are not serving us, they are imprisoning us instead. I'll ask you, if you think you should be doubting what I'm saying, go back and do some research and see the way Patrice Lumumba of Congo was murdered. Under the open eyes of the United Nations, under the open eyes of the Belgian forces, under the open eyes of France, US, and all the other African, so-called African states watching. Their bases were there up to today. I think the UN is still in Congo. But why is there still war? Why is there still war with all the ammunitions they have to be able to stop any kind of terrorism in the world? Dear youth of Africa, my people, guys, time has come that we need to wisen up. Time has come that we need to do what is necessary to take our futures into our hands and do what we must do. But now the thing is, we sometimes are so excited. We are so enthusiastic about liberating Africa. But the funny thing is that we are divided. We are divided amongst ourselves. That is why you see over 2,000 Pan-African different groups on social media and so running helter-skelter everywhere. But we are not concentrated under an umbrella that has a plan, that should design, that should take Africa to the next level. Should we come together and follow a plan like the Rapid African Plan that has an umbrella called the All African People's Alliance? I am sure that we are going to take Africa to the future. This plan was designed by Professor Hannity Mubawai, a genius that the black race is here to recognize and pay homage to. And very soon, because I know, like most of the other people around know, that this plan is going to help develop and take Africa to the next level. But now we need you. We need you to come on board so that together we can build a new Africa. Together there can be a renaissance in Africa. Together Africa can go to the next level to build that black nation that owes the duty to bring back humanity to mankind. That is the kind of Africa we must build, but we need a plan. As I've told you, the Rapid African Plan is going to take us there. Yes, this Rapid African Plan has this kind of ethical code, this formula of harnessing capital to build Africa, so that in 38 years' time, Africa comes to the forefront of the world economically. We have just one plan, one roadmap, one Africa. I love you and I'll always be here for you. Thank you.